Hello, in this lesson, topic 2.7, we're going to begin with adding and subtracting signed decimals. Whether you have integers, signed whole numbers, or signed decimals, the rules stay the same. So if we are adding, and we're adding like signs, positive and positive, the answer will be positive. And negative, the answer will be negative. And if we're adding different signs, positive and negative, we're going to subtract and keep the positive if that's the larger number. And positive and negative, we're going to subtract and keep the negative if the negative is the larger number. And remember, our subtraction rules are to change all subtraction questions to addition and to change the second sign. In other words, we're going to add the opposite. So those are the rules that we're going to focus on today with signed decimals. We follow the same rules, we just need some practice. Let's begin with adding. If the signs are the same, we're going to add the decimal numbers and we're going to keep the signs. So here we have two negative signed decimals that we are going to add. So the answer is going to be negative, and we're going to simply add these numbers up, making sure that we line up our decimal places, and we can add them in any order that we want. I'm going to put the 15.31 below, and I'm going to fill up with the 0. Now I add my columns. 7 plus 0 is 7, 8 plus 1 is 9, 0 plus 3 is 3. My decimals are lined up, so I bring it down. 9 plus 5 is 14, and I carry my 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So I end up with a negative answer because both of these signs were negative. And it's going to be negative 24.397. Moving on to subtraction, here we're going to use the add the opposite or two pencil strokes principle. We have a subtraction here with signs, so we're going to change the subtraction to addition, and we're going to change the next number to its opposite. In this case, going from negative to positive. Now I can see that my signs are different. I'm adding a negative plus a positive. The positive is the greater sign, so my answer will be positive. And now I'm going to subtract 15.91 minus 12.2, and I will fill in with a 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. 9 minus 2 is 7. My decimals are lined up, so I bring it down. 5 minus 2 is 3. And 1 minus 1 is nothing. So here we're going to have an answer of positive 3.71. So let's go ahead and do the 2.7a do together section, reviewing our sign rules as we go. We see number 1, we have subtraction. We do not want subtraction with signed decimals, so we change to adding, and we change to the opposite. Negative becomes positive. Now I can compare. I have a negative and a positive, and the negative is the greater number, so my answer will be negative, and I will need to subtract these decimals. 6.47 minus 5.9, and I will need to fill in a 0 for the hundredths place. I'm going to subtract. 7 minus 0 is 7. 4 minus 9 I cannot do, I need to borrow. 14 minus 9 is 5. Bring your decimal down. And 5 minus 5 is 0. So we're going to have a negative 0.57. For number 2, we have 3 decimal sign numbers. 2 of them are positive and 1 is negative. So I'm going to combine my positives first, and then I'll take away that negative sign. So I'm going to take 4.2009 plus 0.438, and I'm going to put a 0 there so that I have everything lined up. I'm adding. 9 plus 0 is 9, 0 plus 8 is 8, 0 plus 3 is 3, 2 plus 4 is 6, bring my decimal, and 4 plus 0 is 4. So my positive numbers equal 4.6389. Now I'm adding a negative number. So by adding a different sign, I'm going to keep the sign of the greater number, which in this case is positive. So I'm going to subtract 2.45, filling in with zeros. 9 minus 0 is 9, 8 minus 0 is 8, 3 minus 5 requires borrowing. So it's 13 minus 5 is 8, 5 minus 4 is 1, bring my decimal, and 4 minus 2 is 2. So my result is a positive 2.1889. If you'd like to do these two questions with me as well, exercise 2.7a, I'm going to do number 1 and number 4. Number 1, I see that I have a positive plus a negative. My positive number is greater, so my answer will be positive, and I will need to subtract these numbers to get my result. So I'm going to subtract 0.995. 8 minus 5 is 3. I have a 0 minus 9, so I will borrow over here at the 4, making that a 3. I will give to the 0 here, making it a 10, and then I will borrow from it. 9, and then I will give. So 10 minus 9 is 1. 9 minus 9 is 0. Bring my decimal down. 3 minus 0 is 3, and 2 minus 0 is 2. So my result is a positive 23.013. For number 4, this time I have subtraction. So when I have signed numbers with subtraction, I'm going to add the opposite. This is a positive 4.99 beside, so I'm going to change the subtraction to adding, and I'm going to make this a negative. Now I have a negative 2 plus a negative 4.99. My integer rules say when the sign is the same, we keep the sign, and we just add the integers. So I have 4.99 plus 2, so that is going to result in 6.99. And because they're both negative, it's going to be a negative 6.99. So you can give the other questions in exercise 2.7a a try, and then we'll do 2.7b in class.